Hello, soulmates, and welcome to yet another Commander Abridged. Let's not waste any time and get right into the deck overviews. Going first is James playing Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, a deck designed to cast Valduk as early as possible, slam as many low-cost equipment and auras onto him as he can, and swing with the elemental tokens that Valduk creates. Then after combat, cash in on those tokens before they get exiled. Next is Adam playing partners Tymna the Weaver and Kodama of the East Tree. This is an Abzan Aristocrats combo list with two value-accumulating behemoths in the command zone. Third is CJ, playing his Breena the Demagogue deck. This is an upgraded precon hoping to get opponents to attack elsewhere while CJ builds up massive evasive attackers to KO the table. Going last is my Ayara First of Locthwain deck. I designed this to be a mono-black Perforo style list, hoping to just flood the board with tokens and drain the table out quickly. Alright, gameplay time. James plays a mountain to start off the game, following it up with a Jeweled Lotus, cracking that right away to play Valduk, Keeper of the Flame from the command zone. He then casts a Furor of the Bitten, enchanting it onto Valduk, heading into combat right afterwards. Valduk triggers, and James gets a 3/1 elemental token with Trample and Haste, which he swings right away at CJ for first blood of the game.
Dude, look at that. Check it out, guys. Ready? 4 cards for a single lightning bolt on turn 1. Very cool.
With CJ already being taken down a peg, James ends his turn, exiling his token and passes it over to Adam. Adam plays a Misty Rainforest, cracking it right away, paying 1 life to find a Bayou, which he uses to cast a Birds of Paradise. He passes the turn. CJ plays a Swamp and passes, and I do the exact same thing. James plays a Mountain for turn 2, then casts Swashbuckling, enchanting it onto Valduk, giving another +2/+2 buff. He enters combat, triggering Valduk, getting 2 3/1 elemental tokens with Trample and Haste. He swings Valduk at me, and a 3/1 each at CJ and Adam.
How big is Valduk?
Valduk right now is a 7/6.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, we're a third of the way there.
No one blocks. I take 7 commander damage, and CJ and Adam take 3 regular damage each. James ends his turn, exiling his tokens at the end step. Adam plays a Scrubland, using it to play a Soul Ring, then casts an Oakhame Adversary. With no other plays, he passes. CJ plays a Miko Koro, Center of the Sea, as his land for the turn, then passes with no plays. Classic CJ turn 2. I one-up this by playing a basic Swamp and also passing the turn.
On tap. I think I've officially run out of gas already, guys.
James misses his land drop and plays a Goldvein Pick. He enters combat, triggering Valduk, making 2 3/1 elemental tokens with Trample and Haste. He swings Valduk at CJ, and an elemental each at Adam and myself. No one blocks, CJ takes 7 Valduk damage, and Adam and I both take 3 regular damage. James ends the turn, exiling the tokens and passing it over to Adam. Adam plays Tymna the Weaver from his command zone to start his turn, then heads to combat, swinging the Oakhame Adversary at James. James has no blocks and takes 2 damage, triggering the Oakhame Adversary. Adam draws a card, then enters his second main phase, which triggers Tymna the Weaver. He pays 1 life to draw another card, but unfortunately still misses his land drop, so he passes it to CJ. CJ plays a Plains.
Heard you want another
Breena.
elemental jam.
Then casts Vow of Duty, enchanting it onto Valduk. Now Valduk can't attack CJ, but has Vigilance and another +2/+2. Now being tapped out, CJ passes the turn. I play a Swamp, then cast Ayara First of Locthwain from the command zone, and James, CJ, and Adam all lose 1 life as I gain a life. I pass. James starts turn 4 by equipping the Goldvein Pick onto Valduk, then enters combat knowing nothing else but aggro, so he creates 4 3/1 elemental tokens with Trample and Haste with the Valduk trigger, and swings 3 of them at me, 1 at CJ, and then Valduk himself at Adam. With no blocks, Adam takes 10 Valduk damage, I take 9 damage, and CJ takes 3. Goldvein Pick triggers on combat damage, and James creates a Rick Hat, aka a treasure token. He ends the turn, exiling his elemental boys at the end step. Adam plays an Arid Mesa, cracking it, paying a life. He finds a Savannah from his library to the battlefield, and he heads to combat, swings Oakhame Adversary at James, and Tymna the Weaver at CJ. They both don't block, taking 2 damage each, gaining Adam 2 life from Tymna's lifelink. This triggers the Okame adversary and Adam draws a card. Tymna then triggers in the post-combat main phase, and Adam pays 2 life to draw 2 more cards. He then casts Reassembling Skeleton, floating a colorless mana from Soul Ring, and CJ asks a very important question.
Adam, have we ever talked about your playmat and why it only has 5 Pokemon?
This is his favorite.
But
a lot.
there's
It's
not a
like
team.
It's just my favorite Pokemon. I don't have a 6th favorite Pokemon. Top 5.
I just have the 5, guys.
Out of all, like, I think they're over 1,000 now. You only have 5?
Yeah, the rest suck.
Using the floating mana and 2 lands, he casts a face-up Grim Specs, and follows that up with a Tenacious Dead. He passes to CJ. CJ casts Breena the Demagogue from the command zone, then plays a tapped Mortuary Mire as his land for the turn, and with no other plays, he passes. I, very excited about my draw, play a Swamp, then cast a Feed the Swarm, targeting Valduk, destroying it and losing 3 life from the effect. With the aggro player now at bay, I pass. James starts off turn 5 with a Mountain, then plays a Wheel of Misfortune, the most fucking confusing wheel effect ever, which he deftly explains.
So we all gotta write down a number and reveal it all at the same time. Lowest numbers do not wheel. Highest number takes that damage. Anything that's not the lowest does wheel, no matter what.
So wait. It's like the... Read it again?
So we all gotta write down a number and reveal it all at the same time. Lowest numbers do not wheel. Highest number takes that damage. Anything that's not the lowest does wheel, no matter what.
We all pick our numbers and reveal. James and CJ both picked 4, and Adam and I both picked 0. So James and CJ take 4 damage each and wheel, and then nothing happens to Adam nor myself.
CJ, what'd you draw?
I can't tell you that. I can tell you what I discarded.
You can't tell me what you drew.
I mean, I can. I don't think it's correct. We'll see.
James passes the turn, keeping the Rick Hat untapped just in case. Adam starts off by going right to combat. He swings Tymna at James, Okame Adversary at CJ, and Reassembling Skeleton and Tenacious Dead at me. The attack at James triggers CJ's Breena, so Adam draws a card and CJ puts 2+1/+1 counters onto Breena. James, CJ, and I all take 2 damage each, and on combat damage, Okame Adversary triggers, so Adam draws a card. He gains 2 life from Tymna's lifelink, but in his post-combat main phase with Tymna's trigger, he pays 3 life to draw 3 more cards. He casts an Exploration, then plays 2 Shocklands, paying 2 life for each of them, so they come in untapped. He then fully taps out and plays Hornet Queen, which creates 4 1/1 Death Touch flying insect tokens as it enters. He passes as he discards 2 cards to hand size. CJ plays a Rogue's Passage as his land for the turn, then casts a Micaeus the Lunarch with an X=1. It enters the battlefield with a single +1/+1 counter on it. He casts a Curse of Disturbance, cursing James with it, allowing anyone who attacks him to get a 2/2 zombie token, which means CJ will do the same. James accepts this with open arms.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much done.
CJ enters combat and swings Breena at James, getting a trigger from Breena and from Curse of Disturbance. CJ draws a card, puts 2 +1/+1 counters onto Breena, and then gets a 2/2 zombie token. James takes 5 Breena commander damage after those triggers resolve, and CJ passes the turn. I play a Swamp and then cast Ogre Slumlord. This triggers Ayara, draining 1 each from James, CJ, and Adam as I gain 1 life. I enter combat and I swing Ayara at James, triggering Curse of Disturbance and Breena on CJ's board. I draw a card, CJ puts 2 +1/+1 counters onto Micaeus the Lunarch. Both him and I make a 2/2 zombie token each, which then triggers Ayara to drain CJ, Adam, and James for 1 more, and I gain another life. James has no blocks and takes 2 commander damage from Ayara. I draw up a Radical Zomboy and I pass the turn. We head into turn 6 with some low-ass life totals. James starts off with a Mountain.
Do I recast Valduk or do I keep up my mana for some shenanigans? I think I shenanigan it up and pass the turn.
Uh-oh. Wait, do you have enough mana for Val? Oh, you've got the... Yeah.
I got a Rick Hat,
He's got
dude.
Rick Hat, dude.
Got a Rick Hat, dude.
Adam plays a High Market as his first land for the turn, followed by a Caves of Koilos as his second land for the turn thanks to Exploration. He then casts Vampiric Rites and goes to sacrifice something with it, but stops, noticing how I could benefit from it with Ogre Slumlord. I try to talk my way out of it.
You're sacking a creature?
Wait. Oh, yeah. It's like... I'll die.
But it'll be fun.
I guess it evens out because like I gain a life and you drain me.
You're fine. You kill CJ, but that's not you.
Yeah, do that.
What?
Then Adam regrets his whole turn.
Yeah, I did this turn. Really, really badly. I could have done some crazy shit.
Already?
Yeah.
You ever cast one spell and regret it?
Yes.
No, it's not even that, really.
Sorry, bad question.
Adam casts Animate Dead, targeting the Avenger of Zendikar in his graveyard, bringing it back from the dead. As it enters, Adam makes 7/0/1 plant tokens. As Adam thinks, we discuss my zombie token drawing.
I like your surfing zombie, Tom.
Thanks, buddy.
Damn.
Surfing USA.
It's got a nice hat.
Does it also? Yeah, I was gonna say, does it also have like Abraham
It is Abraham Lincoln.
as a zombie hunter? Or is he?
As a zombie surfer.
Safi Eriksdotter is then cast by Adam, and he enters combat. He swings Tymna at James, Oakham Adversary, and Hornet Queen at me. This triggers CJ's Breena twice, allowing Adam to draw 2 cards as CJ puts 2+1/+1 counters on each of his zombies. And speaking of those zombies, he and Adam make 1 each as the attack trigger from Curse of Disturbance goes off. Damage then happens, with me losing 4 and James losing 2 life, Adam gaining 2 life from the lifelink on Tymna, and Oakham Adversary triggering. Adam draws 1 card from that, then pays 1 life into Tymna's post-combat main phase trigger to draw 1 more card, passing the turn right afterwards. CJ casts a Blood Tracker as his first play of the turn. He enters combat and swings a beefed-up zombie each at James and myself. He gets 2 triggers from Breena, drawing 2 cards and putting 2+1/+1 counters each on the tokens that he is attacking with. His attack also triggers the Curse of Disturbance, gaining him another zombie. I use Abe as a blocker, and James has no blocks. James takes 6 damage, and my zombie dies.
You fucking killed Abraham Lincoln, bro.
CJ plays a Kabira Plateau as his land for the turn, and passes. I start with a Dread Presence, triggering Ayara, draining everyone else for 1 life as I gain 1 life. I then play a Swamp, which triggers the Dread Presence.
I'll hit, Adam, you want me to hit the skeleton or the other one that does the same thing?
I don't know, man. That's a hard choice.
I choose to do 2 damage to Grim Haruspects, and Adam responds by sacrificing it to Vampiric Rites. He gains 1 life and draws a card, and my Ogre Slumlord also triggers, so I get a 1/1 rat token, triggering Ayara, gaining a life while everybody else gets drained for 1. I cast a Scheming Symmetry, choosing James as the buddy who gets to search for a card.
Sick, dude. Nothing I could find. Oh, wait, actually, no.
Wait, yeah, isn't there? What's the 9 mana as a red sorcery?
Yeah, what's that guy's name again?
We both find our cards and put them on top of our libraries. With nothing else, I pass the turn. And remember how James said he had some shenanigans to get up to? I guess he fucking forgot because he just starts his turn. James plays a Mountain and then casts Jeska's Will, netting him 8 red mana. He uses 5 of it right away to get Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, out.
Wait a minute.
3 mana
Wait.
left over.
That's
not-
perfect amount for anger, gods, but we should do it afterwards.
He's betrayed us.
I betrayed you guys.
He suits up Valduk with a Cartouche of Zeal, missing the ETB trigger, and a Frenzied Rage, giving Valduk a buff and menace.
Oh, he's got menace.
Okay.
Pretty sick, dude.
And,
So what did we tutor for?
Jessica's Will.
What does Valduk have now?
He's just a lowly little 6'4", 6'5".
that's that
6'5".
interesting. He survives anger of the gods.
6'5" haste and menace, dude.
2 red mana left.
3 red mana.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like, also, what anger of the gods costs.
Guys, I'm not protecting you. No one
I
said
don't know what your
anything.
strategy is.
I don't really have one.
We're bantering, bro.
Yeah, no strats here, dude. If I'm being honest with you.
It's valid.
He continues his lack of a plan by equipping the Gold Vein pick onto Valduk and giving him even more drip as he plays a Tormentor's Helm, then cracks the Rick Hat to equip the helm onto Valduk.
I love how in like 1 turn, Valduk is just a tower of cards. It's fucking awesome.
It's my favorite.
He enters combat and gets 4 3/1 elemental tokens with Trample and Haste. He turns them all sideways at Adam and Breena triggers. James draws a card, and CJ puts 2+1/+1 counters onto his Blood Tracker. Adam blocks 1 elemental with his Avenger of Zendikar, and the rest get blocked by the 7 plant tokens. He takes 2 damage after his blocks, and James ends his turn. At the end step, Adam sacrifices Safi Eriksdottir, targeting the Avenger of Zendikar with her ability. Then sacrifices the Avenger to Vampiric Rites, letting Adam draw a card and gain 1 life. This also causes my Ogre Slumlord to trigger 2 times, making 2 rat tokens, which trigger Ayara to drain the table by 2 and gain me 2 life back. Avenger of Zendikar comes back out thanks to Safi's triggered ability, and then Adam gains 7 more 0/1 plant tokens.
We're never scheming together again, bro.
Like I said, I was totally like zoning out when you guys were talking about wipes and stuff.
The 9-mana sorcery. Intent.
Adam then starts his turn. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth is Adam's first land for the turn, triggering the landfall from Avenger of Zendikar, putting a +1/+1 counter onto each of his plants. Bloodstained Mire then comes down as his second land for the turn, and the same thing happens again, and then guess what? He cracks that shit, paying a life, and the Avenger trigger happens again when the land that he fetches up hits the battlefield. Adam casts a Pitiless Plunderer, and then moves to combat. He swings his 7 plant tokens, Avenger of Zendikar, Hornet Queen, the 4 insect tokens, Oakhame Adversary, Tymna, and his 2 skeletons at me. This triggers Breena, so Adam draws a card, and CJ puts 2+1/+1 counters onto his Blood Tracker. I block the Avenger and 2 plant tokens with my 3 Death Touch rats, and then I block 3 more plants with Dread Presence, Ayara, and Ogre Slumlord respectively. The 2 plants and Avenger of Zendikar die on Adam's board, and then Ogre Slumlord, Dread Presence, and Ayara all die on my board. This nets me 3 more 1/1 rats from Ogre Slumlord. Pitiless Plunderer also triggers and makes Adam 3 treasure tokens. I take 15 damage from combat, and I go to 4 life. Adam, missing his Tymna trigger, plays Ashnod's Altar. With the reassembling skeleton, Ashnod's Altar, and Pitiless Plunderer, Adam now has infinite colorless mana. Because he can sack the skeleton to Ashnod's Altar, this will trigger the Plunderer. That will net him 2 colorless mana and a treasure each time, and then he can use the treasure and 1 of the colorless mana to return the reassembling skeleton to the battlefield. He casts Dread Return, targeting the Grim Haruspects in his graveyard, returning it to the battlefield, and now with this, and his infinite reassembling skeleton sacrifices, he can draw his entire deck until he gets to Zulaport Cutthroat, play it, and then use that to drain the table. The table recognizes this as an infinite loop and essentially a win, so we all admit defeat and give Adam the win. James. The fuck, dude? You just get a board wipe, bro. Just go get a board wipe, man. Nah, it's cool. But like the Val's got a Duke with the Val's got a Duke. Mono red aggro was clouding his thoughts. I know how it goes. Otherwise, fun, fast game, solid banter. This is what we all agreed on in the pregame conversation, and it went fucking great. So no complaints. Good time with friends. Thank you for watching. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate it. Murder that fucking bell icon. You know what it is. And, have a nice day. Thank you. Here's a little smooch for you on the way out.